Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak, and this is our first official game preview from the NFL season 2014-2015. It's August 1st, and we're going to cover the Hall of Fame game, the preseason game, this Sunday between the Giants and the Bills, and we're going to do it with one of our featured guests for quite a while now, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, who has a great record with us long-term in videos, handicapping the NFL and many other sports. Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Thanks so much for kicking off this season with us.
No, thank you, Peter. I've done a bunch of videos with you, but I think this may be our first ever preseason one.
Well, let's review your record from last year because, you know, everyone hears the great comments that you make, your thorough analysis. You obviously know what you're talking about, but they might not be keeping track of your records. And last year you had a great record with us, 56% overall against the spread in the NFL. You were particularly good in the regular season, 27 and 16 against the spread in your regular season NFL games with us. And of course, those were not by any means your best bets. You took whatever, you covered every Monday night, every Thursday night game with us, and you took any game that I asked you to cover, all the ones no one else wanted to touch, all the tough ones, 27 and 16 against the spread with us in the regular season in the NFL last year. Joe Duffy, that was an awesome record. What do you have to say for yourself?
Thank you, but that's true. It's a lot of the best bettable games are not the prettiest games to watch, and those clients who have been with me for years know that in college football especially, we do some of the lower profile games and do quite well.
All right, the Hall of Fame game, Buffalo and the Giants. Right now I'm seeing the Giants as a 2.5-point underdog. Total is 33, and, you know, just full disclosure here, I bet everything in sports, professional sports, but I don't really bet the NFL preseason, although I know that people who do their research and know what they're doing can make a lot of money on it. I know there's one syndicate I know that hits 70% in the NFL preseason, but they also have one employee who does nothing but read Twitter 60 hours a week, and that's why they do so well. But from my research here, you know, Tom Coughlin doesn't in general seem to have a good record in the preseason, right? He hasn't had a winning record since 2006. And Buffalo, you know, there's a lot of positives for them this year. Sammy Watkins looking great. People are saying that he's going to have a super year here. Maybe he'll want to come out and make a statement in the Hall of Fame game. They also have a lot more talent and depth on the offensive line, so that could be a big factor here as well. So I can see why Buffalo might be the legitimate favorite here, -2.5. What do you think, Joe Duffy? What side do you think might have some value?
I agree with you there. And Tom Coughlin, I don't put that much stock in the coaches' records in the preseason because the dynamics can change from year to year. But in this case, it is appropriate because, like just about any year for him recently, they don't have any motivation to win in the preseason. It's all about the regular season and, more importantly, the playoffs. Even Eli Manning, some people think he's got a little bit to prove after having a rough year last year. He does have a lot to prove, but not in the preseason. That's during the regular season. But yeah, Buffalo is a team that they're working in some new players. E.J. Manuel has said that he's got to prove, he admitted he's got to prove he can throw downfield more. You just mentioned he's got more weapons, led by Watkins, who a lot of people thought should have been maybe the first pick in the draft, and he's looked good so far. So Buffalo clearly has a lot more to prove in this game, and I can see why they are the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants last year had, you know, they lost their last 3 preseason games, and of course they had that terrible start to the regular season. So I'm thinking that maybe they'll want to switch it up this year and try to, you know, maybe play well in their maybe week 3 and week 4 preseason games. So I might be looking to bet on the Giants in those games, but I agree with you here. They might be even maybe taking it easy to start, you know, going full speed in week 4 of the preseason. I'm thinking, yeah, all right, maybe I will bet this. I'm thinking Buffalo -2.5 might have some value. What do you think, Joe Duffy? Is that your pick here?
Yeah, it is. And here's something to consider. I can go either way on this. I know a couple people who like to bet so-called intangibles. Sometimes I think they overdo it. But an interesting thing to consider, there are bettors out there who believe that Jim Kelly's presence on the sideline, as we know, he's got a horrible form of cancer.
Right.
Things aren't going well. He says how important it is for him to be there because his old teammate Andre Reed's going into the World Series. And people think that in a game where each team lacks motivation, that maybe his presence on the sideline is going to push Buffalo a little bit. That's not the main reason I do like Buffalo, but I guess it could be another thing in our favor. But for all the motivation reasons we talked about, yeah, 2.5. And remember, there's a big difference between 2.5 and 3.
Right.
So hopefully you can get 2.5 and no more than 110, which it is widely available, I know, right now.
You know what? I'm convinced. I'm going to pound it. I think I might go and pound Buffalo -2.5 right now. Screw this not betting NFL preseason. I think we got a winner here, Joe Duffy. Buffalo -2.5.
All right, Peter. I don't know if I would pound it, but it is a good play.
Thanks so much, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Talk to you again very soon.